Welcome to another episode of the Profit Builder Unscripted. If you have children at home, you want to listen to this episode. All right, let's jump in. Well, I was having a conversation with a client last week about their goals for this coming year. He told me about a number of things that he wanted to have happen in his business, which was awesome. And then I said, so tell me about your personal goals. What are some goals that you have personally? And one of them was that he wanted to be able to spend more time being able to go to his daughter's soccer games. And I'm like, that's awesome. And he's got young kids at home. And I said, and he kind of listened to a few other things that he said, but I didn't hear anything about his wife. And I said, hey, so tell me, how many times a month do you and your wife go on date nights? And he said, well, I don't know. It's a little bit hit and miss, but we have a good relationship. I'm like, that's awesome that you have a great relationship. And do you go on date nights regularly? And he said, no, not really. And I said, I'm going to encourage you to put date nights on your schedule, because date nights in your relationship are kind of like, when as business owners or leaders, we foster relationships with people. It's like, if we want to be able to have healthy relationships that I think that, there's two things about the whole thing about when we're parents, that our job in our relationship is to demonstrate to our children what it means to have a healthy relationship, what it means to have a healthy marriage. And the other thing that, I realize, and all my children are grown now, is that our children are in our lives for a season, and then they go. And that relationship, that core relationship, that marriage, in order for us to be able to have them sustain, we need to nurture them. We need to take care of them. We need to invest in them. And I will tell you personally, I did not learn this in my first marriage. I allowed my business, and I allowed the demand of being a parent, and my kids are very demanding, and that's kind of like their job, and that's what they do. But as parents, our job is also to be clear about our children are our children, and they're there for a season. And to be, we all want to be great parents, and I love that. And that was very important to me. But I also I didn't have my relationship be the thing that guided me as a parent. And I didn't have it be that I understood, or I just didn't understand at the time, that I was demonstrating to my children how to have a healthy relationship. I was demonstrating to them what it meant to be in a successful relationship, so that when they grew up and went out in the world, they would have that demonstration. And I became really keenly aware of that after I got divorced the first time. Well, the only time I've been divorced, thankfully. I became keenly aware of the fact that we need to pay more attention. And in my second marriage, part of our charge as a couple was that we really wanted to demonstrate to our children what it meant to have a healthy relationship. We wanted them to be able to see what that looked like, because we also realized that what we were doing was demonstrating to them what it meant to have a healthy relationship with somebody else. And healthy relationship, what does that mean? It means you invest time in each other. That means that you tend to the relationship. It means that you have a lot of things: respect, kindness, love, generosity, thoughtfulness. Like, we don't take each other for granted. We're very intentional about how we manage our relationship. And, in the early years, that was, that it took some learning on both of our parts. And, and I shared that story with my client because in all the years that I've been doing this work, the thing that I have found over and over again is when I have this conversation with young parents with young children, and I always ask this question: tell me about how you doing on date nights? Are you going on date nights? That when they do that, I've had people come back to me and say, thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you telling me to do that. I'm seeing how it's making a difference in my relationship with my wife or my husband. I'm seeing how how much more fulfilling our lives are together when we're taking time with each other and for each other. And you know, I know this is kind of not a topic that I normally talk about, but I felt like it was an important topic. It just, you know, it kept coming back to me again and again and again. After I had that conversation, it just like that I needed to share this. I wanted to share this story with you because I just feel like it's so important that it's part of our job to take care of that relationship and to demonstrate to our kids what it is to have a healthy relationship means. We work on it, you know, we work on that relationship, and it's not easy, right? Relationships, human, you know, human beings, we're all kind of have our messiness, right? And I remember somebody who I trained with, who was a coach and trainer, and I remember him saying to the group once, he said, you know, it's no wonder that any two people can manage to stay married, because we all have our own maps of, you know, history and background and beliefs and just sort of our own, all of our own messiness, that we can come together and find common ground. Takes effort and takes work. And I know that that is true for certainly for my own experience. And I'm happy to say I just celebrated 20 years of being married to my husband, Tim, and I'm grateful that we made this choice as a couple to really work at teaching our children what it means to have a healthy relationship. So I hope you found this to be helpful and useful, and I'm going to encourage you, if you have children and they're at home, have at least 2 date nights a month. And if they're really little, maybe 1 date night a month for now. But it's like there's somebody in your life who can probably watch your kids and that you can trust, and find a way to do that. Find a way to give yourselves that opportunity. It's just so important. All right. I hope you found this to be helpful. Thank you. Thank you for always for listening, for being here, and for being part of this community. And I'll see you next time on the Profit Builder Unscripted.